back to the YouTube channel. Finally getting back into this, and as the title of the video you already know, we're not working on this one, and we sure ain't working on that one right now. That's right, we're finally getting back to the old S10 Blazer. I am dying to get back onto this. It's been a while. Heck, it's been almost a year since I bought it already, and I've only made a few videos of it, so it's finally time to get back into this thing. I think first things first is I gotta find the keys. Got them somewhere. I move it every now and then when I need to cut grass, so keys are somewhere. A little sneak peek. It's right here. Yeah. Finally got it painted. Behind the scenes. Battery should not be dead. We'll find out. Oh yeah. She's good. Now the oil pressure gauge I disconnected. I actually put a sensor in its place because the computer needs to have that reading. But runs a lot better since I've done that. That was something else. So we'll get this thing moved, put it in the garage, and get started on this thing. Kind of go over it a little bit. Alright, so we got the old Blazer turned around, pulled up here. And a lot has changed. Some things not, some things have. And well, I've done a lot of things off camera here and there. I've added things, changed things. So I'm just gonna kind of go over everything just real fast. Keep it short, simple, and sweet. So if you recall, I had saved this Blazer. I'm gonna leave a link down to that in the description for you to find it out if you ain't seen part 1 and part 2, where I have brought this thing back to life and then totally cleaned this whole thing up from top to bottom, front to back, and also shampooed the interior. Well, you need to check those videos out because you're going to be missing out on the whole thing. So anyway, after bringing this thing back after 10 years of sitting in the woods and weeds and so on, we put a fuel pump in it, put a gas tank in it, fuel filter, and she lit right off to life. And then, of course, you do the usual, tune-up, plugs, wires, cap and rotor, that type of thing. Went ahead and put a serpentine belt on it, because if I'm not mistaken, it had a bad squeak when it ran. The idler pulley and the tensioner is brand new. The other idler pulley down there is brand new. We threw a battery in it when I first got it going. I put a map sensor on it from a vehicle that had like 135,000 miles at the junkyard, because the one it was on, it was making it run funny when it got hot. It still kind of has that issue, but it's not as bad. Put a chrome Chevy oil cap on it. And, well, and I believe if I hadn't said already, we changed the oil in it. And it's got 10W40 in it, just because of age. And then we drove it around, put some mileage on it. And then I put it in the backyard. And it's been parked pretty much almost kind of ever since that last time of seeing it, after washing it and cleaning it up. There's still a whole lot more to really go over and do. But like I said, I've done things off camera, so some of the things, as you notice, the little Chevy emblem stickers, I put those on the mirror. My S10 actually has those as well, and it has chrome mirrors. Picked those up at the park store. They were on sale for like $1, and I swapped every one that I could off the shelf up. So I put those on. I put headlights in it. Those are brand new, because the ones that were in it were shot. You couldn't even see anything at night. They're very, very dim. The one of the marker lights was messed up, so I fixed that. It works. All the headlights, taillights, blinkers, and I believe the horn works, but there's still a steering column problem, so we'll get to that. Cleaned up the wheels, painted the air cleaner, and I've kind of gotten a lot of things here and there, as time would pass, to actually do to the vehicle. Parts that it needed. So interior has leather interior now. I put bucket seats in it from another S10 pickup or something. It was from the junkyard. I don't even remember now. I've had several different seats in here. I tried a bench seat for my S10, and it looked alright, but it didn't sit right. It sit too low. So I didn't like that. I took that back out, and I found these. They're kind of different colored, as you can tell. The camera really brings that up, which sucks, but it's not that bad in person. Changed the console. I've actually got a brand new one, or mint condition one, in storage. It needs to be put in it. I got a steering column for it from the Junkyard out of Jimmy. I got a Vallis, or not a Vallis, but a bumper filler piece that's actually got good paint on it for the front bumper, because it's completely gone. With the paint just not there anymore, as you can tell. Now I could have taken this off and painted it, but you know, I found the one at the Junkyard and figured why not. It was like 10 bucks. Cleaned up the door panels, everything like that. Put a dash mat in it. I put a radio in it. And what else did I do? So it's got LED floor lights now in it. Front, roof, the very back, all LEDs, and new speakers in the dash, new speakers behind the seats. So sound system sounds pretty good. I would show you, but you know, YouTube doesn't like that, and I would get copyrighted. I also have got some other parts in here. I believe there's some vacuum hoses. I had a CB radio that I want to put in this thing. I got that from a market store, you know, flea market store, something like that. It was like 10 bucks. Brand new in a box. Now that this thing is cleaned up, I believe that it's been repainted at one time, because that's overspray. So it's had a paint job or something in the lifetime of this. And you know as well as I do, in the first videos you've seen that I actually have the bill sheet and the window sticker for this thing. It shows everything about it. I put taillights assemblies in it, and I put LEDs, reverse lights, LED taillights. I had a actual wheel cover that said Blazer on it, 4-wheel drive, but my lovely lab puppy decided that she wanted to chew on it, so it is now gone thanks to her. This sucks. This is all that's left. So she got a hold of it, like I said, and just chewed it all to pieces. So these are extremely hard to find. Maybe I'll find another one. I don't know. I found that one at the Junkyard, and it was in mint condition before she got a hold of it. So that really sucks. I actually put in one of these Chevy hitches and a new lock with it. And, well, the lab got a hold of that one, and she chewed that up too. So I had to go buy another one. Luckily, it was on sale this time for 8 bucks to put in it. It lights up with the brake lights and hazards and all that stuff. Also got new shocks for the glass, both sides. You got another set of speakers in here for it. I got the exhaust. It's got a Flowmaster on it now, single in, single out, 40 series. I got a radiator hose to put on it. I got a thermostat for it. I got oil cooler hoses because they leak very badly. I got another grill that's in way better condition that I'm thinking about painting the actual inserts right here black, taping all this chrome off and painting the grill black on the inserts. And I may change the Chevy bow tie to a bigger one, like the 91 to 94 version one-piece grill. I've done that before. It looks a lot better. It's bigger. Paint it red, and then with the black and the chrome, I think that'll look really good. It's got a brand new tire. It's a 225 70 or 75 15. I got that for the spare. I was trying to find another set to make, you know, all four matching, because this truck's supposed to have 235, but I can't find them, and they're not cheap. But also got rain guards for it, metal type that lock in the glass. And there's more gas shocks for the rear glass. The oil cooler hoses are brand new from a Junkyard truck. And the molding that goes on the side of the body, I've actually got all that, so that's pretty neat. I actually still have the rear spoiler that goes at the top of the glass up here. I still have all that. It needs to be put back on. I have the brackets for it because the ones that were on this thing broke, so that sucks. But I got another one. I got some more parts in here. I believe okay, yeah, here's the bow tie I was talking about putting here. and then painting it red. It would look really good. Found this. This is pretty cool. S10 Blazer. I'm gonna throw that in there with it. Got a door chime for a later model out of a Camaro because I don't like the Chevrolet or GM buzzer that sounds like somebody's dead. So I got another one of those I'm gonna put in here. It'll change it. Some other, actually, got some parts from my S10 in here. So what else I got in here? Radio piece. Oh, another window wiper motor, because I thought the wiper motor was bad, and it turns out it's actually the column that's messed up that's causing all my options not to work. My wipers don't work, my horn doesn't work, and my cruise control doesn't work. The column's completely just messed up. It goes left to right, you know, kind of like this, and then it goes up and down, and it goes in and out like a telescoping steering wheel. You can see the gap, so that's definitely not good. The column itself, the bolts that are in here, everybody commented when I posted it on the forums that it was actually the bolts in here that you got to take out, Loctite, put them back in, but that's not the case. This all stays still. It's only here, the stud or the shaft that goes through the column to the actual steering shaft under the hood to the gearbox is what moves, and I believe that's what's wrong with it. But in order to fix all that, I got to fix the steering shaft. But I went ahead and picked up a whole another column, so might as well use it. I don't think there's anything wrong with this one besides that, but there's something inside of here that causes this to move that should not move. Also got a tack for it that needs to be put in. It's going to put it somewhere like here just to kind of see where it's idling at, because like I said, when it gets hot, you know, it idles funny and it loses power, especially under low when you're trying to give it gas. First to second, or right in when it hits third gear and you're going up a hill, it just bogs down until you really got to get on it to make it downshift and then push hard to make it go, and it shouldn't have to do that. Oh wow, I still got to clean that off, but it's not toxic. I've actually cleaned this seat once, but it don't come off. It's like stained. The seats are good underneath. I actually replaced this one in the back too. It's also got leather. Very, very hard to find the pleather or leather seats for an S10 or a Blazer. The lock switch on this side. All the locks work. Windows work. Put a new window switch in from the Junkyard as well. And like I said, the lock switch on this side I replaced because the other one was shot. So the main things to really get to the point, hopefully you've not skipped over a lot of this. You know, pretty much we need to flush the brake system because it needs new brake fluid really, really bad. The hoses are new in the front, so somebody done hoses and calipers at one time, and I'm not going to touch that. It doesn't squeak, doesn't shake, nothing leaks yet. I have a feeling the rear wheel cylinders are going to start leaking once it gets driven more because you just age. So I made a list, you know, skid scratch, you know, it's writing there, but you know, I really want to go over a lot of things. The front differential fluid needs to be checked. The rear diff needs to be checked. The transmission fluid was low, about 2 or 3 quarts. I've topped it off. It needs to be checked again. I'm going to change the thermostat, top hose. Looks like it already had one on it that was new at one time, but it kind of feels hard, and I just don't like, you know, that shouldn't feel like that. It should be kind of soft and not so tight like that. And that's something else. Another reason why one of these caps are on here is because whenever it gets hot, which only gets up to about 160, 165 degrees, doesn't get any hotter than that when it's running, unless it's turned off, of course, the temperature rises. But when it does that, or it gets any temperature in it, this hose gets very, very tight where I can barely squeeze it like this until I put this cap on here that releases the pressure and takes it out of there, and it doesn't do that anymore. So I'm guessing there was a lot of air in the system itself, and that was causing a lot of the issue. I put a couple cans of refrigerant in it, and the AC actually does work, and it blows really, really cold. So that's awesome that that still works after that many years of sitting. I also put another alternator on it, even though it don't look like it. Need to paint it or clean it up or something. That just looks horrible underneath the engine bay. I'm all about looks, you know, when it comes to my stuff. I just don't like how that looks. You know, it just kind of looks trashy, like it's been in the dirt and just thrown on here. Of course, the rest of the thing doesn't look that great, but you know, it is what it is. So I want to take care of the, you know, all the fluids, check everything on it. The front end needs to be greased and lubricated, ball joints, tie rods, sway bar bushings and all that stuff needs to be checked. The dry shaft needs to be greased, and the linkages and stuff like that for the four-wheel drive, all that stuff works. And I'll prove that this thing pulled my old S10 out of the backyard stuck in the mud, and I will actually link that video into this right here so you can check that out. So what you think about that? The old Blazer actually pulled that whole freaking truck out of there like that. And I'm sure that these things can do a whole heck of a lot more. I've actually seen them do a lot more. I've actually seen a pickup four-wheel drive pull a Hummer out of the mud. So these things are pretty stout. The power steering hose is brand new as well. I need to flush that system. The you know, like little fluids like that, I really want to change the transmission fluid, kind of update that. I don't know really yet. If I mentioned it already, I changed the oil pressure switch back here at the back because the gauge with the little hose that's right here started leaking in the engine bay, and I wasn't going to have that. Don't need a fire. And it started leaking on the interior and getting oil all everywhere and the carpet, and I just shampooed everything. So I got rid of that, actually put a sensor in it so the engine can actually calculate what the oil pressure is for the fuel pump, because as it's turning over, it actually turns over and starts up a lot faster than it used to without that gauge sensor hooked up. Because GM and most of other vehicles has a oil pressure switch that uses that. When it builds oil pressure, it sends power to the fuel pump, kicks it in, and it starts a lot faster. You unplug that and it kind of makes it a little harder on cold starts. Something else majorly that I want to fix, I mean, look at this, look at the play in the steering shaft, but the cluster itself. Now this thing has 216,000 miles, and it had somewhere around, it was 216,100, and I think it was like, yeah, actually there's a sticker, 216,130 is what it had on it when I first got this thing going before I ever started driving it. And I think it has from 130 miles to about 330, almost 400 miles now. So I've put somewhere around, if my math is right, about 200, 300 miles ish, give or take here and there. Little short trips to the junkyard that's like 10 minutes from me, and things like that. Just trying to keep it going because sitting is never good for a vehicle. But we need to pull this cluster out and actually fix what's wrong with it. Because the mileage doesn't light up. Sometimes you can do that right there, and that will make it light up, the mileage or the speedometer, the oil pressure, temperature, battery voltage, and most importantly, the fuel tank reading. I have nothing. So that's why the guy put gauges in it down here. Runs good. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is change this hose. See, it's already building up pressure. So shouldn't be doing that. But change the thermostat, this hose, I'm gonna flush the cooling system, put brand new fresh coolant in it, because I don't know how old it is. It's clean, but you know, still want to flush it out. And then we'll move on to other things. Need to get the steering shaft sorted out. Can't drive it really at all, it's dangerous. And that column. And then after that, some hoses and some other goodies for this. Actually want to paint this whole radiator support. Get the new pieces put on the front end. You can see the grill looks like trash. Somebody painted it with some ugly paint. I didn't do that. But may paint the top of these as well. I don't know. Tried to find another set of these. These are hard to find because this one's broke. But I'm going to paint the radiator support and maybe the fender wells, both sides. Get this oil leak addressed. You can see the oil everywhere. And bring this thing back to life. Get it back on the road. Get it going. Sitting for almost another year after I've had it is crazy. Things happen. It's life. Alright, so got the front end lifted. Just for now, I'm going to go ahead and lubricate the whole front end real quick. Ball joints, upper, lower, tie rod ends, all that good stuff. Tie rod ends are pretty dang dry. And something else I noticed just a second ago. Spinning this around, I got the lug nuts off. The wheel's stuck to it where it's been on there for so long. And the rotors look good. But check this out. Something inside there is rubbing. I believe it's the dust shield. Either that or it's the ring for the ABS. Or not ABS, what am I thinking? This is only in 1990. It's either the backing plate for the rotor or something in the rotor between the drum or something. Something in here is rubbing around. I believe it's the dust shield. I can get that wheel off. We'll be in good shape. So I'm going to take something, pry it off, bang it off from the backside. Tried it with the old, you know, earth pounder, hitting it both sides, but I just ain't getting it. The steering wheel won't lock. And the other side, I doubt it's going to come off. I got those loose, but it's quiet. And that's what it should sound. I took the pry bar between the caliper, took a rag, put it between here, I believe. Finally got the old sucker off. Oh yeah, just a little rust around the rim. The actual plate that sits on the rim itself from the hub. These tires are shot big time. They got cracks really, really bad. I don't know how anybody else cares about, you know, when you see all the cracks in the tire like that. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm going to take and put the wheels from my S10 pickup on this thing, 235, 75, 15, and swap them around until I'm out of breath because this sucker's heavy. Anyway, so I'm going to take the S10 wheels, put them on here, the Camaro wheels, run it for a little bit so I can drive it around without them exploding on me, because those tires that are on here, I know the ones in the back are even worse. So may do pads, I don't know. There's some meat left, but there's some reason something. Yeah. Hey, look at that. Ain't making no more noise. Check that out. What's the backing plate? I knew it. So I'm gonna lubricate a lot of this stuff, clean this mess up, take the a wire brush and some sandpaper and go around this, and then put some anti-seize so this never sees again. Also do the same thing with this. Put some anti-seize because those were a pain to get off, especially some of them like that one had rust. So ball joints have not seen grease in a very long time. Look at the tie rods, completely gone. There's nothing there. So check this whole thing out and lubricate everything, and maybe it'll steer and ride a lot better. S10s are very common for ball joint failure, especially the top and the bottom one. Now this side came off easy. Alright, so how's this side look? Like I said, they've had hoses. They just need to be cleaned up. on this thing. Yeah, Dorman. Yeah, it's definitely a aftermarket part, probably from Napa or something like that. That would be my guesses. The shucks have seen better days. Probably their factory. I don't know. Uh-oh. We got a freeze plug about to go. That's wonderful, and it's right where the starter's at, and that's what... Jeez. Well, that's what you want to see. Right at the starter. So anyway. Good gracious. The junk I buy. Good thing I just got this grease gun filled up. Yep. Starting to take it. I don't know. Oh. Alright, well the boot's busted on the other side, but at least it's lubricated. That explains why I don't have no grease in it. Let's try the upper ball joint. Oh, that puppy is dry. Yeah, it's starting to leak out too. That's great. Well, at least we know it's got grease in it. Now it's all over my driveway. Great. And what do you know it? The bottom jaw joint's busted too, the boot. But, like I said, as long as it's got grease, guess I'm alright with that for now. Alright, so the upper ball joint's done. Went ahead and took care of the inner one, the part of the steering system right there, the outer arm. Greased it. I greased the other one on the other side because it's easy to get to this way. Did the tie rod. Both tie rods are busted. Both upper and lower ball joints are busted on this side. The boots, that is. Alright, so lubricating the front end is pretty much done. I did the drive shaft as well. Well, I did not realize that two-wheel drive wheels versus four-wheel drive wheels is that much of a daggum difference. Like, whoa. And it, as in bad. You know, I figured it would, you know, stick out some. But, I mean, that is literally half of that wheel and tire sticking outward. It'd be like Mexican style going down the road. I don't like that. That just looks awful. The heck, man. I never knew that they were that bad. Never really seen anybody else put two-wheel drive wheels on a four-wheel drive anyway, but, you know, I just never figured that it would be that bad. And then I swapped the other one around for this one. I wanted to see what it looked like. I always cared to what this truck looked like with these wheels. These are my absolute favorite wheels. And if these would fit this truck, I would absolutely run them. Because it looks good. You know, they're aluminum. You could clean them up. It looks four-wheel drive. I even have four-wheel drive little emblems on the right behind the door on the cab to make it look four-wheel drive. But yeah, that looks good. I like how it fills up the fender well gapping. And if you stand far away enough, you know, it really makes the truck look good, like it's four-wheel drive. Alright, you know where I am. Made it to the junkyard. Had to come down here to get a few parts. Had seen that it just came in. So, you know, 40-minute drive. And then traffic-wise, I got an hour to get what I need off of this thing. And I mean just an hour. The grill's busted. I had a feeling it was a 2.8. Sweet. And I don't really need 4.3 parts for my Blazer. I like to have those wheels for my pickup. Those are pretty cool. It's got the Chevy logo in the center cap. But looks like, yep, manual windows, manual locks. We still got keys, got 10 interior. God, that is actually perfect. The dash is a little beat up. Glove box is broke. Nope, it locks. It's a Tahoe. I always thought the Tahoe had everything, but I guess not. Somebody's been in here. They probably... Did they get the computer? Nope, computer's still in here. I don't know why the dash is apart, but... She's an 87 model. Awesome. So, yeah. I don't know what the heck that is. Some kind of keyway pieces. That's interesting. Looks like something for a crankshaft. Interesting. Alright, well. Uh-oh. We got some engine parts apart. I need that for the alternator. Console's good. Looks like she was a four-wheel drive, which is kind of odd because it looked like it had two-wheel drive wheels on it. So, why they don't... Oh, God. Why they don't stick out, I don't know. Headliner's kind of good. So, I'm going to reach the other side. And, oh, it's got the... I need that switch. It's got the keys still in it. I'm shocked. Yeah, I definitely need these bezels. And hopefully they're not broke. The lenses are in better shape than mine. Yeah, all the screws are in it. Hopefully they're not broke. They got it just shoved back here because this is fresh inventory. Wow. Yeah, weather stripping shot. How many miles? 259,000. It's a 4-speed automatic. Did they have problems getting into the hood? Well, I can remedy that. Alright, so I grabbed the bezels. I grabbed Chevy logo out of the grill. It's pretty good shape. And then this, I don't necessarily need the switches, but they look brand new. Like, I'm not kidding. Usually these have, especially this one, has a bunch of dust and dirt on it, but that looks like a brand new switch. And the letters are still on it. And for, you know, over 200,000 is up. And also, I want to go ahead and tackle this bumper. You can see the water stain in it. It ain't shiny or pretty anymore like it should be, as chrome is supposed to be. And I'm a chrome guy, so I'm going to clean that up and I'm going to show you how to do that. It's really, really simple and easy and cheap to fix. Yeah, much better. Much, much better. Check that out. What a little bit of magic in the can will do for you. This is a GM, actually satin black is the color. Got that at O'Reilly's. I think it was like 13 or 16 something bucks a can. But well worth it if it looks that good. So I picked up 3. I had gotten flat black and then gloss black. The gloss black looked good, but if you got any kind of imperfections, it's going to bring it up. Like, for instance, the color I used still brought up some of this because I didn't really, sand it down. It wasn't rusty. It just hadn't had any paint on it, and who knows how long. So, and then the flat black, you can tell the difference, shiny versus the other, was a little too much. It was like a gray color, and I didn't like that. It was almost like the color of this fan shroud. And I wanted something that was a little shiny, but I didn't want it too shiny like it had clear coat on it. I wanted something with just a little gloss, so that was actually perfect. GM satin black. I'm going to do the little tow hooks at the bottom with that same color, satin black, and probably some other small things. I did the air cleaner in some metallic color that I had bought from the parts store. I bought like several cans of different stuff to do the Blazer and my S10. Here's what I used on the air cleaner. You see the colors like it's got metallic sparkle in it, sort of, which is what the air cleaner is. It's a black peel is the name of it. But it kind of matches. It's a little darker than the lid, but I kind of like that it actually blends in pretty good. So I'm going to finish, button up everything, clean up the bumper filler, throw that back in, and put the grill and the bezels and all that stuff back on. Alright, back at it. Another day, another late night, as usual. Front end's back together. The front chrome bumper is shining like brand new again, so it's all done. And I got to do the rear one, so I'll show you exactly what I use and the techniques, and you'll see much of a difference of how it actually turns out. Because it looks way better than it did before. Next thing on the list is the wiper motor issue. It won't do nothing. And then one day I got in it, flipped the switch, and it started working. Sprayer works, intermittent works, the high and low, everything like it's supposed to. And then I got in it one day again, and then it never would work again. So I figured, well, the wiper motor's probably shot or something like that, maybe the steering column issue, but turns out they're very notorious for the circuit boards to fail. This is what controls everything about it, and without that, you got nothing. So when I went to the junkyard and I got another wiper motor, I took this out, and actually this is the one that came out of here, and I don't see what you say cracks or nothing, but it's got this red residue all over it like it got real hot. The back of it looks alright. The spring part here, not really springy like I would think. Like there's not much tension to it. This one I put in here just a second ago, flipped the wiper motor on, and it tried to work and then quit. So it's definitely something wrong with the motor or the circuit boards. I don't know if you can buy these separately. I've never had to try to buy one of these before. They're not too bad. I'll just pick up a new one and swap it out and be done with all this. But I don't want to try another junkyard. I already got this one, and I really don't want to have to, go through this whole process and then it still not work. So I think the best bet is to just go buy another one. They're probably not that expensive anyway, and we'll take care of that issue. Alright, so the steering column problem. Well, it is now fixed. Now, if you track back to the video when I brought this thing home, all this steering parts were in pieces. And I mean everywhere. I didn't know what was what. Never really messed with steering columns that much besides changing the steering wheel. So I never really paid much attention that this black ring piece plate was missing. That plate right there is very important because that's why the whole shaft of the steering column was moving around. Now that it's back in and locked in, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with this column at all. But you remove this in order to change your wiper switch, your lock cylinder switch for your keys, your turn signal cam, and I believe he was doing a turn signal cam or something else, and then just quit because the key switch was gone. This was all in pieces. The turn signal cam was just laying out. I mean, it was just a mess. And I didn't have none of that on video. This was actually the way it looked like when I brought it home before I even videoed it. I actually put it together some just to make it look more decent. But anyway, the little piece here that is missing in here sticks out of this hole, goes through the steering column, and then the other piece connects to the horn pad. And that's why the horn doesn't work. But I can't fix the horn because the turn signal cam in this steering column is shot. This little copper ring that sticks out that's springy is actually missing on the one that's in here. So this makes contact on this guy as your steering wheel turns. There's a little contact ring. Makes contact with this, goes through all the process, connects to your horn pad, and blows your horn. So that's how it all works. And I'm not really going to go through the whole column to do this job. I've already done it twice on the other two vehicles, and I don't want to do it again. I'm so over steering columns. I've done this job, swapping them out, fixing them, probably like 4 times now, and very recently, and I just don't want to touch it anymore. So if I have to, I will rig up a horn button or something to fix that problem. But I got another steering column. I could swap it out, but, there's that. I still got to do the steering shaft. And I got the cluster out, as you can tell. I was going to take it all apart, solder the joints if I could find any that was cracked. I don't see any that was cracked. And there is some residue like rust to them. I don't know if that's what's wrong, but I don't see anything that is cracked. And I've fixed them before on other vehicles that I've had. Problem with this, when I was taking everything apart, the blower motor for the inside of the cab, the connector pins are corroded and burnt. So something got very, very hot, whether it be the blower motor or something else like the resistor into the hood. Something's drawing too much amps, or this didn't get a good connection. I have no clue, but that got damn hot, which is not good. The connector is burnt. This one, you can see where it burnt it a little bit. So I'm gonna have to go to the junkyard, clip one off, and splice a new one in. Find another blower motor switch for that, because you can't have that. I don't want it catching fire, but it did work. I don't like that. So I'm gonna take care of that. We're gonna take care of the column, get that wiper motor fixed. If I have to go to the junkyard, if I know, and I will. But if not, go to the parts store and get a new one. I don't know if they sell these new. I'm sure they do. If they're not too pricey, I'll pick up one of those. Alright, 2 days later, it's on the ramps. It's starting to get dark again. Replace the switch. Here's the burnt switch. You can actually get them, and with my account, it's actually pretty cheap. It was like $12 and something. I ended up getting a relay and a brand new resistor. I replaced everything that had to do with AC or the controls of high, low, medium, and all that stuff. So the resistor's done, the relay is done, the blower motor's been replaced. It's got something China or whatever written on it, made in Mexico, so it's not original. It would say made in Canada if it was. Let's see here. So all that's done. The connector on the inside of the cab, I actually went ahead and done. Shrink wrap butt connectors, so it's good to go. Connector looks good. I got it from that truck that had 135,000 miles. So I also picked up another wiper motor from that same truck. It looks brand new almost, and circuit board looked good. I only paid like $10 for that, so I mean, it can't hurt. So everything else has been swapped out, or swapped out this piece that was broke from another truck. Here's the new switch, so it's good to go. Dash is still not working. I'm not going to mess with it. I bought a connector from the Junkyard, and I can swap this over to analog. If I end up keeping this Blazer, I will end up swapping it over to analog. I'm not going to keep the digital crap. I can't find really much online, you know, to fix it. A lot of people say it's the like resistor or whatever on the back of this that you have to desolder and resolder back, and I've seen one video of a guy doing it, and I said there's no way. I'm just not going to touch that. So I'm used to the other. I'm not really a guy for digital stuff like that. It's just they're prone for failure so much that I just don't want to fix it. So I'm going to put everything back together real fast, and then we'll test it out, see how the AC does. Hopefully there's no more smoke coming out of this thing if it does, because I read online that it's a common problem, and they say it's the switch. But I went ahead and done all 3 or 4 things in line with all this stuff to make sure that everything was going to be good. Don't want no more fires. And I got curious. I was like, you know, I've seen this many times with the Junkyard where everybody has taken a ground wire and they put it here, and they mount it here or in here or whatever to it, and I'm like, why are they grounding out the wiper motor? And here's why. So I grounded it out, and this is the one that came with the Blazer since I've had it. Look at that. Delay works. Give it a minute. Yep. High. Sprayer. Yeah, sprayer works, but the hose is broke. I'll have to fix that. I put some fluid in it. It don't sound healthy, but at least it works. So I'm going to take a wire and a piece and just tap it into this and tap it into the firewall and call this done. I don't have to actually put a wiper motor in it after all. So I've got 2 extra motors sitting around for parts, or if I want to change mine over to one that has a delay in it. Because I'm thinking about doing that later on. I also glued on the little 4.3 emblem that's supposed to be there. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this probably and get the dash back together, and we'll fire this thing up and see how she does. Yeah, I think we need tires. So I said I wasn't going to do it, but I got 2 from Walmart. About almost $200 to have all this done, but when I have 2 tires put on the front of it at least. The back ones are going to be ish, you know. Next payday, get 2 rear ones. Not too bad. 80 a tire. Brand spanking new. Sweet. Alright, now that the sun's back after about 5 days and nothing but rain, finally getting back to this. You see, I went and got tires put on it. Brand spanking new. They are Dextro, all-terrain. Pretty much you could take a sucker in some mud and it'll handle it. Still got to get 2 more tires, but at least it's got 2 on it now, that at least on the front it's more safe than what was on it, because they were literally about to explode any moment. So back to the list of things. The Mess of the dash. I don't think I really explained this. Never really showed it, but everything's back together. AC works. The switches and everything works like it's supposed to. Camera died after that last clip that you had seen about putting the dash back together. So anyway, you turn it on, and there's crap that comes out of the vents. And this has been like this since I bought it. Never really took the time to clean it. And this is, I don't know how many times I've cleaned it. Turn it on, whether AC on or off, don't matter. Just turn it on, defrost, or regular vent. You turn the key. Oh! And I'm not making that up. And it just blows it out. Constantly, over and over and over again. So, until I get this out, you know, it's not really safe to run the AC or heat or anything else, because it stinks. And my allergies are killing me, where I've been in this thing pretty much all day today trying to get that stuff out of the dash. I can't get nothing in there. You can't get that out unless you take the whole entire dash apart, and I don't really want to do that. So there's other remedies of taking care of this, which involves this little guy. It's a little grabber. It has a claw on the end that comes out, and it's bendy, so you can actually take it. And I've shoved it down into these holes of the defrost, trying to get this stuff out. I don't know where it keeps coming out at, but like I've vacuumed and vacuumed and vacuumed. I'm not kidding. It must be a heck of a lot that's built up in that dash from sitting for 10 years in a field. And I've done it in here. It's coming out in the center. It's coming out on the ends. But it's more likely in the defrost than anywhere else. So it's pretty much just this, you know, going down in here in each one of the holes, blowing it out. Can't get the vacuum cleaner in there. I don't have nothing small enough. And this stuff is toxic. So as soon as I get all this out, then I'm probably gonna take and fog or smoke the whole truck. Roll the windows up, turn the AC full blast, recirculate. There we go. Get some of that junk out of there. Alright, 30 minutes later, and I'm still after this. I got smart, thought, well, why not take one of these and blow it back into it, because this, that one and that one, they're connected, and that's where the nest is at, or was, whatever. Somehow it's blowing in the center ones and the end ones too, but it's more into these. And I wish it was so much easier to get to, but you can't. Just taking that while it's turned on still, engine off. Take this, blow it backwards into it, and I mean a crap ton come flying out of there. Dust was everywhere. It's all in the whole entire Blazer. It's everywhere. Nasty. Stinks like I don't know what. And I probably stirred up the rest of it. Was at the bottom. It was all icky. That's just gross. I'm about to put like 3 freaking fog things in this thing. It might be finally cleaned. I'll do some cleaning, that's for sure. And that helped a lot, having the grabber. It's like a claw to get in there and kind of bounce around all that stuff where I can't get it by hand, and kind of move it around to get it out, and then blow it out with the nozzle and the vacuum cleaner. Check this out, it looks like it's snowing. Alright, I believe I finally got all that crap out of the vents. So far, don't know. I know there's not really much anymore coming out of the defrost. There is some out of the center, but I don't know. I'm kind of actually tired of dealing with it. I've been doing this for like over an hour. Just cleaning it or blowing it, running it. Almost killed the battery on the Blazer. Sitting here for so long. The key on, just constantly blowing, because I don't want to run it. Because I don't know how much gas is in it with the gas gauge or cluster being messed up. And I started to take all this stuff out that's in the back, so that way I can fog it and it not get on anything else. And when I took the mat out that goes on this, that's not good. See my gloves wet? So that bad rainstorm and mess that we've had for about 5 days, it's been leaking into this. And I just wonder what is underneath that floor, because it sat for 10 years in the woods and weeds. This side's dry, so it's this side. Something on this side is leaking, whether it be here, the glass. I have absolutely no idea, but I'm going to clean it, vacuum that water out. I've got a little thing that you can actually pick up at Dollar Tree. I'll have to show you that. Alright guys, you remember the Chevy aluminum I'm trying to get rid of after I strip it? I put one of these in here from Dollar Tree. Now, you know, it's Dollar Tree, so I figured, you know, that's not going to really do its job, but it actually did. All the water that you see in here came from that aluminum. I'm not joking. It came, when you pick it up and you peel the top layer of cover off to put it in your vehicle, there's beads in the very top. You see there's like a separate tray that separates everything. Well, they look like this. Oh god, this actually does have water in it. So I'm getting water out of the Blazer too. But it comes with white little beads, and as the moisture builds up, it soaks up and then drops all the way at the bottom, like this one did. Dude, there's nothing. Then you toss it away, go get another one, and do the same thing again. So evidently there's definitely moisture in this thing, because it's picking it up from back here. So I may have to put 2 of them in here, but I mean $1.25 and it draws the moisture out of the vehicle. That's a win in my book. So I'm going to vacuum this out and vacuum all this mess out again for the 20th time, and then turn it on. Actually, let's just do it now while we got it on camera. See if anything comes out. See some. Ah, geez, don't tell me it's in the floor vent too. Golly. Defrost. Still some in there. Well, I'll make another pass, I guess. Make sure that it's cleared out the best as I can get it, and then move on to other things. Alright, I believe I've got it cleaned again for the millionth time. I don't know if it's completely out of the dash. You know, it is what it is at this point. I'm kind of tired of messing with it, and forgotten, you know, the last time that I should have done that, you know, almost a year ago. Well, pretty much a year ago, because that's about when I bought this thing. But, so all that's taken care of. I still need to fog it and kind of, you know, get rid of the smell or spray the stuff in the vents and then run it before the rain comes back again. Let me get this bumper cleaned up. Thanks to the puppy. Just kind of messed it all up. Hope it ain't scratched it up too bad, but we'll see. Let me get the bumper looking from that ugliness right there to a shiny chrome bumper where you can actually see your face in it. Kind of crazy it went after that from that. And that's pretty hazy. Pretty hazy and dirty from all the years of sitting. Road grime and who knows what else. Alright, so I wear a glove when I do this stuff because I don't like the feel of it, and I don't like the smell, and you're really not supposed to get on your hands. And here's what I use. Mother's polish, aluminum polish, chrome. The wheels on this, I'll actually use the same thing with a drill to actually clean those, but some steel wool or some stuff you wash the dishes with, the SOS pad, you can use that too with soap and water, whatever. Take some of this. Of course, it's been in the heat, so it's going to look a little funny, but don't be afraid to get a lot on there because you're going to need it. And just scrub it all the way around with the steel wool and the mother's chrome polish, and it will eat and take away all the stuff off of the bumper. And you can already see it. It's unreal how fast it actually works. A little bit of elbow grease, should look like brand new again. I usually let it sit for a minute, but it really don't matter. Sometimes you got to go over it a couple times, but it'll come out. Look at that, brand new again. Well, got the whole thing shining like new again. Got the puppy marks out of it, so I gotta go take it and have it washed again, and then we'll get to polishing up the paint a little bit. Alright, so it poured down rain that day after that last clip that y'all seen. So, day 6 now, I guess we're looking at. I went ahead and bought some gear oil because there's something else we're not done on the list yet, which was check the rear differential in the front one and the transfer case. Well, I checked it last night off camera, and the rear differential was extremely low, and what I had left was close to a half a bottle, and it didn't fill it up. So I went ahead and got a big jug because the front one takes the same as the rear one does. So if the rear one's low, the front one's probably the same way. So we're about to find out and see. Alright, got the drain plug out. You see there's nothing coming out of it. Stuck my pinky in there, still can't feel nothing yet. So it's pretty low. I'd say it's probably about a bottle and a half low. About to find out. I filled up one little bottle that you buy a single at a store, and we'll see how much it takes out of that. Then I can kind of calculate how much or how low it actually was. Something else to note is it actually had a Torx bit. T55 is what takes the little plug out. Never seen that before. Usually you take the end of a ratchet head and an extension to get them out, but this one had a Torx bit. Well, I'd say that took about a bottle, maybe just a hair more than a bottle, full bottle or so, but that's pretty bad. That was significantly low, and that's not good for the rear end. Sleeper Dude always warns you, check your rear end on your trucks. Alright, front's filled. Like I said, 80W90, but the little fill plug is literally right there on the front. So facing the vehicle, as you go back straight up, that's the fill plug. I believe one of these at the bottom is a drain plug, but I'm not worried about it because I'm not draining it. It was a tad low. That is to be expected, but the rear being like it was, yeah, not so much. That's a little questionable. Of course, it has a pinion seal leak that's starting that I noticed. And there's some fluid on one of the drums, and I don't know if that's actually gear oil or if it's brake fluid. I'm not losing brake fluid, so it could be gear oil, could be an axle seal. That kind of sucks that I've driven it around a good little bit, not knowing that it was that extremely low. So that could be another reason why it doesn't want to pull good going down the road like that. But being a year later, you know, I kind of figured that I had checked all the fluids, but I guess not. Not when it comes to that stuff like that. I kind of forgot. Alright, I figured I'd go over it real fast. That front bolt to the differential to check the fluid, that is a 15mm, just in case anybody out there is wondering. To check the transfer case fluid, or to drain it and to fill it, whatever, on the back side, behind the, about in the middle side of the driver's door, you'll see that plug. I can get the light in here better. The top one
is your fuel plug. This one is your drain plug. You can see where I've already checked it. It's probably going to end up starting it to leak because of how old it is, but that's alright. It is a 30 millimeter. Same thing with this one. It's very tight to get off, but I got it out. It should come kind of like trickle out or be right at there at the edge, just like you would checking a front differential or rear differential. And then as for the real one, that one is a T55 on this model to take the fill plug out to fill the fluid back up. So the next thing on the list is fogging this sucker. And I hope this don't suck. The smell, I don't know what it smells like. It says original. Well, we'll see how good that does. But anyway, it says to put this thing in here, turn the AC on to recirculate for 15 minutes. So I gotta let it sit here and run. Probably should put some gas in it, because I don't know what's in it. I need to change that gauge out to a fuel gauge. I don't really want to put the fuel gauge there, but I want to put the fuel gauge in because there's no sense in having an oil pressure gauge no more. We don't need that. I'm not using it. The one for the fuel is somewhere. What did I do with it? Here it is. Alright, so this will be going in its place down here because, you know, eventually that's what I wanted to do, was put in a fuel gauge because it doesn't have one. Kind of crazy, after I fixed the wiper motor, that started working better again. So it must be a ground issue somewhere. It doesn't show me the mileage. Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. It did all day yesterday. Charging good. Oh, here we go. Let's turn on this AC and see what happens. Get this thing hopefully smelling better. It doesn't really, what you say, smell right now. It's just a little musty-ish. I want to make it, you know, refreshed, especially whatever's in those vents. Alright. Let's turn A on. Please don't throw out any more stuff out of the vents. I'm so tired of having to do that. That AC feels so good already. I feel it. Oh man, it feels so good. If y'all had smell, feel-o-vision, I'm telling you, that AC is like ice cold immediately. Alright, let's shut her up for 15 minutes. Well, that just smells not too bad. That's good to know. Alright, 15 minutes starts now. Alright, it's been about an hour later now. Let it air out. It smells a lot better. It does leave like a, I want to describe it as some kind of cologne smell, but it kind of dissipates. Maybe it's because I'm getting used to it already. Took some, one of my favorite smells is the peppermint oil and a spray, and sprayed it all the way around the carpet and the panels and stuff like that to kind of make it smell better, and that really helped. That done kind of like the best. But I believe all the stuff is going out of the dash, and it smells a lot better in here, so pretty much a lot of things on the list have been taken care of. Fires right up. AC blows cold, heat works good, interior's all clean, new tires. What more can you ask for? So now it's time to take it out and get some pictures of this thing. I'm going to go around the whole thing while it's in the sunshine. Now that I've done a few things on the body work as far as replacing the front pieces and parts, clean the back, and I want to install these. This has got to be on it. There's no four-wheel drive stickers anywhere except for the emblems. So I'm thinking right here. One right there. One right there. I think that'll do it. drives so good now. Shifts good. I mean, like, that transmission is great. I ain't never had any other one besides my pickup to shift that smooth and that tight. Like, it's all there. And I might get the stickers a little crooked, but at least they're on there. It looks better having some kind of, you know, four-wheel drive stickers on it. Kind of resembles of what the thing is. Some of them, I know pickups had them, possibly. I don't remember, maybe they're stick-ons, maybe it's something you can buy, but it's got them on the mud flaps, the fender, but it really matches with them on the rear. So, hopefully, you guys enjoyed this whole length of a long video of content fixing this Blazer, because I know I have. And we took care of a lot of things on this truck. Brought it back to life, you know, a year ago. New fuel pump and a gas tank and a battery. And it lit right off to life. Literally with the tune-up and stuff it had on it when I bought it. I didn't touch that until after. So, it's kind of amazing, you know, the littlest things you could do to keep a vehicle on the road. And it's sad that it was actually going to end up being scrapped if I hadn't have saved it. So, I'm glad I did. No regret at all to have saving this. So it's plans of what to do with it now, I really don't know. We don't get really what you say terrible weather as far as snow, you know, down here in North Carolina, so I don't really not really gonna be using four-wheel drive like a lot of you up north in New York and stuff like that would be using a lot. So a little different here, but I mean, like I said, the littlest things have done to it. It's kind of amazed me to go out there and get everybody else to doing this. I know there's a lot more, just me, you know, higher up YouTubers that take cars that don't run, hadn't ran in who knows how many years, and drive them clear across the country to get them back to their house. That's not me. That's a big risk, because anything could go wrong in that amount of time. But not down on them at all, because I love the content. You know, if it saves them, brings them back, heck yeah, more power to you. So, I mean, new tires and taillights, headlights, LEDs inside, backup lights, brake lights, the bumper filler, the grill, the bezels, radiator hose, coolant, radiator's new, belt tensioner, the idler pulley, 17 belt, oil change, air filter, some vacuum lines here and there. I flushed the brake fluid, threw a battery in it. That's another alternator from the Junkyard. I'd probably put another brand new one on it. And I grounded out the wiper motor so it works. Blown away resistor and a relay. A map sensor from another vehicle. It had 135,000 miles. And I mean, the rest of it is just cleaning it up, getting it going, fixing little things here and there, quirks that it had. I replaced the door pans in the driver door, at least one of them. So it's fixed. It was actually in two pieces. Placed this outside door handle. Placed the lock cylinder for the door. The power mirror switch has been replaced. These switches have been replaced. The covers on both ends, the little switch to the blower motor has been replaced. It's been new speakers, new radio, shampooed the carpet, brand new seats. I mean, it's a lot. You could probably take the cluster out and have it redone. I'm not going to spend the money to do that. They're kind of quite expensive to have it redone. It's more likely a capacitor or resistor on the back of it that's failed. I looked at the solder joints like I explained before. They looked alright to me, so don't really know. Put 2 cans of refrigerant in it. AC blows ice cold. Got all the crap out of the vents. The bench seat has been replaced. I mean, it's all here. Kind of crazy. You know, in a year's time of what a vehicle you could do to it to make it come back to life. So, holding good temperature. I mean, it just amazes me. It really does. I'm going to miss this thing so much because I hate to tell you guys, but I've already listed it for sale. And part of me is because I don't really drive it, don't really mess with it. And I never, I know I say this so many times, I never had intentions to sell it, but it's just one of those things where what amounts am I going to do to it that y'all are going to enjoy watching, you know? It's one of those things where there's a few videos out there that you can upload. People will watch, you know, right on demand, and then after that, they get bored with it and they don't want it. They want something else. They want that fresh stuff, you know, another revival constantly over and over and over again, and I just don't have it in me to keep doing that. So, and I can't keep doing that unless I get rid of something. So, it is what it is. It's gonna kill me so bad to let this go, because I love a 4.3 and I like my 2.8s, but the 4.3 has a lot more get up and go, and that'll be the only time you ever hear me say that. And not only that, you know, just you can't find them. People want outrageous prices. So I'll find another 4.3 truck, something out there. I'm sure I will. I almost had my hands on one, and the guy ended up selling it. Actually, two of them. I had two trucks for the price of one, and I was going to get both of them. One was a 4-banger, and one was a 4.3. And it was only like $900 for both trucks. But ended up selling them. And there was another one I was going to grab, and it got gone. Here's the exhaust that needs to be put on it. Got a spare tire for it. The other speaker covers. The oil cooler hose I didn't do yet. But it's all there. Ah, jeez. And not only that, it being 4-wheel drive is just something else more to tear up. You know, transfer case, front differential, you got axles to do. Just more parts. Not saying it can't be fixed, but, you know, it's just more to deal with. So, I'm just amazed, as you are probably watching this, of how much this truck's turned around. If you've seen part 1 and part 2 of bringing this thing back to life, it's just crazy. So, I guess that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys, like I said, enjoyed it. I'm trying to get more content out there to you, and I'm trying to get to where when I do something, you actually get to see me doing it instead of me just saying it's done and then you're not seeing it actually done. So, we cleaned the front bumper as well, did the back one, you know, cleaned up all that stuff, polished the wheels a little bit. They need to be done again. But, I mean, it's nothing else for me to really do but drive it. So, if the person, he or she matches my asking price, and I guess that'll be the last time we ever see this thing. But don't be afraid, there'll be more content coming on other things that you don't know about. And I have word that I might be uploading some content of my girlfriend's Blazer, getting that thing and bringing it down here 4 hours home. We shall see. Don't know how that's going to go. That thing's been sitting a while, and it has a lot of issues compared to this, because it has a CPI 4.3, and those are notorious for spider injector issues and a whole lot of heck of other things. So if you like that video, this video, give it a big thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. That helps put more of my video further out there to everybody else to watch it. And if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this stuff without you. So I appreciate it. Almost at 5,000 subscribers. So that'll do it. I'll catch you guys later. More content coming your way. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Peace out.